can you tell me one more difference?
This picture have another car and one bike.
Okay. And can you tell me one more difference, Konstantinos?
In that picture, there are simple men was waiting for the bus stop too.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I have the pictures? Thank you. Thank you very much. What time do you go to school in the morning, Konstantinos?
At 7 o'clock.
Oh, 7 o'clock. So what time do you get up?
6:30.
6:30, really? That's very early, I think. And now, in the holidays?
Now, I'm sleeping.
All day? All right, okay. What time do you go to school, Andres?
7.
7 o'clock. And how do you go to school?
In the car.
You go by car. All right, okay. And when you were at school, now it's holiday, when you were at school, what did you study?
My homeworks.
Okay. Do you always do your homework?
Yes.
Do you? Always? All your homework? You always do all your homework?
Yes.
You must be a very good student. Do you always do all your homework?
Okay, sometimes where I have a lot of homework, I can do it.
Right. What is your favorite homework?
Mathematics.
Oh, really? You like mathematics? And you like mathematics or not?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. When you were in school, before the holiday, what else did you do? You studied mathematics, you did homework. What else did you do in school?
I was in gymnastics.
Yeah?
Technical lady.
Right, technical things. Okay. What did you do on the last day of school? What did you do on the last day of school?
Party.
You had a party. Tell me about the party. Tell me about the party.
We go in the
έξω σχολείο γενικά.
Outside
in the playground or in the
Yes,
yard?
yes.
Oh yeah. And did you play games or?
yeah, football, basketball,
Right.
and eat.
Right. Was it good?
Yes.
Enjoyed it? Okay. And are you in the same school?
No.
Different school. So what did you do on the last day of school?
Some children are staying at home to study for the exams.
All right.
Some goes to school, but we leave very early.
Right.
We are going to the restaurant with some friends. We are eating pizza.
Right. So that was good as well. So you both had a good time. Okay, thank you very much. That's the end of the test. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. JETSET 2. The two candidates were Konstantinos and Andreas. The marks awarded were as follows. Konstantinos 2 in part 1, and in part 2 he received 2 for accuracy, appropriacy and achievement. In part 3 he received a 1 for accuracy, a 3 for appropriacy and a 3 for achievement, making a total of 16 marks. Andreas received 2 in part 1 for achievement. In part 2, he received 2 for accuracy, 2 for appropriacy, 2 for achievement. And in part 3, he also received 2 for accuracy, and appropriacy and achievement, making a total of 14 marks. Both candidates showed that they really had no grasp of past tenses, and Konstantinos also had some inappropriate utterances. For example, he referred to two women's and we are winning the game. He also mentioned there were people wait for the bus stop, and he did on occasion show that he was struggling for vocabulary, although he was making an attempt. Andreas had some questions of accuracy, particularly to do with past tenses and again with plurals. For example, he talked about doing his homeworks. So have you ever been to the UK?
Yes.
Both of you?
Mm-hmm.
No, you haven't. All right. Tell me where you've been in the UK, Iro.
In London.
Yeah? Tell me what you did in London.
I went to Madame Tussauds.
Oh, did you? Very expensive.
Yes.
It's about 30 English pounds. That's about 40 euros.
But I was too young. I was 8 years old.
Right.
I went to Oxford Street.
Yeah.
To the Big Ben.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have friends in London, or do you have relatives, or?
No.
No? Just so you were a real tourist and
Yes.
you went. Okay. What countries have you visited, Anita? Where have you been?
I went to Spain
Yeah.
and Bulgaria
Oh, right.
because I am in a dancing group.
Yeah.
We went with my dancing group,
To Bulgaria?
yes, for
Oh.
a folklore festival.
Right. And did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
We went to see some society and it was beautiful.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to Spain went to Barcelona
Yeah.
and the beach was deep, very deep,
Oh,
and
was-
cold, very cold.
Oh, was it not like here?
No,
Oh.
no.
So did you go swimming in the
Yeah.
sea? How many? Just one time in the sea, maybe?
Yes, about 3-4 hours each day.
Right,
Yes.
right. So where are the beaches better? In Cyprus or
Cyprus.
in better?
Cyprus.
Okay. And tell me, how long were you in Bulgaria for your folklore festival?
For 1 week.
For 1 week,
Yes.
right. And would you like to go back?
Yes.
You would.
Yes.
Would you like to go back to London?
Yes.
Or are there other countries you would like to visit?
Yes. I would like to visit in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Manchester.
Why?
I don't know.
Football. Maybe.
Nottingham.
Right, right. And are you going anywhere this holiday? Are you going to visit any other countries this holiday? Where are you going,
Greece.
Anita? You're going to Greece?
Yes.
Where in Greece?
Crete.
Now, have you been to Crete before?
Yes, last year with my school.
Oh, fabulous,
Yeah.
fabulous. It's such a nice place. You'll
Yes,
love
very
Crete.
nice.
That sounds good. And are you going anywhere this holiday?
I don't know yet. Maybe I will go to Athens.
All right, thank you very much. Now, I'm going to give you a paper and I'm going to ask you to talk about this. You have the same paper. Okay, so it's the same. Here are some notes about possible ways to prepare for exams. I know it's holidays, but think back to exams and school. So discuss together the most important things to do to prepare for exams and why, all right? And put these ideas in order of priority, which one you think is most important, and maybe you might add some ideas of your own, all right? So you've got a few seconds to read what is there and then discuss together what you think is the most important thing to do and maybe other ideas about preparing for exams. Is that okay? All right? Okay, so have a look at the paper. Okay, so what do you think, either of you? Do you think those things are important or not so important? What do you think, Hiro? And talk together, compare your ideas.
I think that these points are important, especially to put notes together and organize them, and read notes, and also to take breaks every 40 minutes. What do you think?
I think it's also important to prepare questions to ask interviewer. And what else?
What do you think about copying out all your work, writing it all out? What do you think about that, Anita?
It's okay, but not so important.
Mm-hmm. What do you do when you are preparing for exams?
Take my papers and only write.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You do that?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about that, Anita?
I read the subject many times, and then I try to
repeat without reading.
Yes.
Okay. And how, for both of you, how long do you look at your notes or write out your work? How many minutes or how many hours do you work without a break?
3-4 hours. 3-4 hours.
3 or 4 hours, do you?
It depends on the subject.
Right. So for you, which is the shortest time for a subject and which is the longest time?
The shortest time is an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the longest 5-6 hours, not continuously.
Right, not continuously. Okay. And which subject is that you study 5-6 hours?
Asian history.
History. And is that because you like it or because you don't like it?
Because I have to.
Because you have to. Okay, and what about you, Anita?
I hate history, but I love maths.
You love maths, do you? Yes. Okay. And do you want to work with maths in the future? Maybe? Maybe. Okay. And what would you like to do in the future, Ira?
I want to study law.
You want to study law, so history is quite important, isn't it,
yes.
with law? Okay. So you're going to be a mathematician and you're going to be a lawyer, maybe?
Not actually maths teacher, but interior designer.
Right. But maths would be useful, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So designer, interesting. All right, thank you very much. May I have the papers? Thank you. Thank you. A lawyer and a designer, what are the benefits the good things about being an organised person in both of those subjects? Do you think it's important to be an organised person? What do you think? What do you think, Anita? Are you an organised person? Sometimes. So do you, for example, do you always arrive on time to meet your friends or to get to school?
Yes,
You do?
Yes.
You do, you do. And what did you do this morning before you came here? Was it panic?
Yes.
Or was it?
Yes.
What kind of person are you, Iro?
I am an organised person.
Okay, can you give me an example of how you are organised?
I like to do things I have to write with the right.
So you make a list?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you tick or cross it. What did you do this morning before you came? Was it panic like her?
A little bit.
A little bit. If you're going to Athens and you're going to Crete. What will you do to prepare for this trip?
Make a list what I want to take with me.
Yeah.
When found it, take one on a list.
Right. So you're both going to make lists of what you
Yes,
need
you are.
and so on and so on. Yeah. What's the most important thing to take with you, do you think, on holiday?
Mobile phone.
Mobile phone. Mobile phone. And what do you think? You can have a mobile phone.
Yes.
What other things do you think are most important to take on holiday?
To have
Any ideas? Do you need passport?
yes.
Passport. So mobile phone, passport, and if you go to Oxford Street or you go to the middle of money, I think. If you've got those things, you're okay. Okay, a passport, mobile phone, and money. I think that they could be okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. That's the end. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for coming. Jet Set 5. The two candidates were Iro and Anita. This demonstrated some questions to do with the fact that these two candidates were both friends. Their marks awarded were as follows. Part 1, Iro received 2 for achievement. For Part 2, she received 4 for accuracy, 4 for appropriacy, and 4 for achievement. And in Part 3, she achieved 4 for accuracy, 4 for appropriacy, and 4 for achievement. This made a total of 26 marks. Anita achieved 2 in Part 1 for achievement. In Part 2, she achieved 3 for accuracy, 4 for appropriacy, and 4 for achievement. And in Part 3, her marks were 3 for accuracy, 4 for appropriacy, and 4 for achievement, making a total of 24. As I mentioned before, this demonstrated some of the problems when two candidates are friends. They relied to some extent upon each other, and they really had little to exchange, perhaps because they already knew each other's views or they knew each other's personalities extremely well. And in this case, they might have performed better had they been split and worked with other people. Having said that, they were both quite close in their levels of ability, and in Part 1 and Part 2, they did show some promise. However, when they began to look at Part 3, they did have some difficulty with the concept of working together rather than talking directly with the examiner, and they did find it quite difficult to engage with the task. To be completely fair to them, the task which they were given was to do with school and exams, and perhaps they were slightly less focused, as this is in fact the beginning of the school holidays, and their minds were looking forward to their holidays and their trips abroad rather than thinking of their school experience. Good morning, my name is Vicky and you are?
Aristotelis Gligis.
Okay, can you spell that for me?
Aristotelis.
Okay, thank you. And your name is?
Lysia Himonin.
Okay, and can you spell that for me? The first name?
Lyzia.
Okay, Lysia. Okay, thank you very much. So, it's holidays. Good, isn't it? It's holidays. Tell me about an enjoyable holiday experience you have had before, maybe last year or before. Tell me about an enjoyable holiday experience, Aristotelis.
Well, I haven't got a lot of enjoyable holidays because I've only been once abroad actually. Well, I had just a few months ago in Brussels. We won a European competition with my team at school, and we went there to Brussels for 6 days and went to the European Parliament, to the Museum of Europe, and my team. Well, we spent some time. Well, I spent our nights at youth hostels. Yeah, 5 nights actually, and we're just spending our time on the grounds of Brussels. Actually, in Brussels. The grand place there. Yeah, we just had some fun doing common activities together. Sightseeing.
Right. Well, that sounds pretty good. Actually, sounds interesting. Okay, what about you, Lysia? Any interesting holiday experience?
I also don't have many interesting experience. I think only once that. I went to a summer school where there were like many activities there, and we could like swim, things like that. Right.
In Cyprus or
yes.
in Cyprus? Okay, good. And which was your favourite activity?
Hanoi, I think.
Right. Okay, thank you. What would you do in the future if you could choose anything you wanted to do? What would you like to do in the future?
As a profession?
Anything at all, as an experience, as a profession, as a place to visit, absolutely anything.
Well, I like to be a professor in university, actually in linguistics actually. Well,
in linguistics?
In the sector of humanities actually.
Right.
English language and literature, or like that.
Right.
Linguistics and stuff.
Stuff like that. Okay, and what about you, Lysia?
I would like to become a lawyer here in Cyprus.
Right.
And I would like to get involved in politics.
Right. Do you think these are possibilities, both of you?
Yeah.
For the future? They sound as if they could be possible.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, good luck with that. Okay. What do you think you will have done by the time you are 30? Very old. What do you think you will have done by the time you're 30?
Well, I have great ambitions. Well, I'll just tell you what I think I'll have done by the age of 30. Actually, I think I would have finished my studies, getting my BAs, my masters, my doctorates. Also, I've set my eyes upon these things, and I think I'll be able to settle down and get the position of professor, I think.
Right.
Well,
would you like to travel?
Travel, yeah, of course.
And where would you like to go by the time you're 30?
Around the world.
Around the world?
Actually, first my studies in England, and then actually I'll just try the countries with similar modes and systems, actually.
Right.
I really haven't found any. I haven't still made my research, but I'll make it by then, and I'll decide.
You're going to be busy.
Yeah.
What about you, Lysia? Do you want to study in Cyprus, or do you want to study abroad?
Abroad.
Okay, so where would you like to study?
In England.
Right. right, okay. And what do you think you will have done by the time you're 30?
I'm not really sure, but I think I should I will also have finished my studies. I don't know, I'll find a job, I think. Maybe I'll have a family or something like that.
Right. And do you want to visit any countries, the UK and any other countries?
I don't think I'm going to visit when I'm 30. Maybe when I'm a little older.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm going to give you a paper, and it's the same paper. You have the same information. There's yours, Aristoteles, and there's yours, Lizia. You are applying for a new course, maybe a course for university or a language course or something like that. Look at these notes which you have here and discuss, please, together what information you think you must have to fill in an application form. And these are maybe some ideas here. Put these points in order, what you think are the most important, and then add any other things of your own. Sorry.
It's like a curriculum vitae?
Yeah, exactly. So what kinds of things do you think you need to collect together to sell yourself for a course? Okay? And talk together. You've got the same information.
What do you think? I think first, the personal details, introducing yourself, and then you just present your qualifications, like previous certificates, proof of language ability, and then you're getting into the work experience, names of previous employers, and then you're gonna have some kind of a conclusion, like the reasons for applying, or you can combine it with the previous qualifications you've possessed, and then state your references, your referees. And you can.
What do you think, Lizia? What do you think are the most important things to have?
The personal details.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna say about yourself. So it's maybe like intrigue the other, want to like.
What would intrigue other people about you? Are there things that you've done which you feel would be make you different from other people? You think, oh yes, we want this person. Is there anything that you've done so far?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that I play the piano. Or I have done ballet in the past, or I have like some certificates. In art. So quite a creative kind of person. Do you have any things that you've done which make you Aristoteles and not another person?
Well, actually, my conception in these kind of matter upon selection and matriculation stuff, I think is trying to give to the person the idea that you care and you're willing to offer as much as you can. Your passion for the subject first, because there are a lot of students, children who really love something, to do something, and they're not giving the opportunities to follow it. So as a background experiences, they might not possess as much as they want, and just presenting what they want, their visions are, and what they want to fulfill for their individual, and what the capacities they possess, and the endurance they can carry out. I think the background information about yourself. I mean, I've gained some distinctions in Cypriot and European in the fields of humanities which I am to pursue. Well, background information as well as presenting the willingness and the passion for the subject.
If you both go to study abroad, and you both said that you were thinking of going to the UK, apart from your families, what do you think you would miss most about Cyprus? What would you miss, do you think? What would you miss, Lizia? Anything? Your piano, maybe?
I think my friends, most of all, and my family. But you know, my friends are going to other other towns to study, and I'm not really sure that we have the contact that we would like to.
Yeah, because people begin to separate. Anything else that you would miss, do you think?
My cats.
Your cats? How many cats do you have?
5.
5 cats. And do you think they would miss you?
Of course.
I hope so, I'm sure they would. Okay, what would you miss, Aristoteles?
Well, a part of my family, the climate here, my relatives, you know, the familiarity that exists here. You can gather up on Sundays and see your relatives. Well, my hobbies actually here, swimming in the seas. Actually, my birdies, my fish, my turtle.
Oh my goodness, so you've got 5 cats and you've got lots of animals as well, have you?
Well, there are a lot of other things that I can call upon now.
Right. What would you like to do or study for fun in the future? Is there anything you'd like to do or study? Just for fun, just for enjoyment? Maybe more piano?
I don't know.
No? Anything?
Archaeology.
Archaeology?
Yeah.
Right, interesting. And where would
anything that deals with antiquity, actually.
Right, so anything with antiquity. Anything you'd like to do or study in the future for fun?
Psychology, I think, because it's really interesting to know about the person, to study and understand how a person thinks and why he acts this way.
Right.
Actually, I would like to make a combination of literature, philosophy, and psychology.
Right.
It explores the human insights and there's this kind of analysis of the humanity itself, and anything that deals with some existentially issues. So
all of this before you're 30, both of you. All right, thank you very much indeed. That's the end of the test. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. This is JETSET Level 6, and the 2 candidates were Aristoteles and Lysia. Aristoteles and Lysia both showed considerable fluency, and their marks are as follows. Aristoteles for achievement received a 3 in part 1. In part 2 he received 6 for accuracy, appropriacy and achievement. And in part 3 he achieved 5 for accuracy, 6 for appropriacy and 6 for achievement. This gave him a total of 38. Lysia achieved 4 in part 1 for achievement, and in part 2 she received 5 for accuracy, 5 for appropriacy and 6 for achievement. And in part 3 she received 5 for accuracy, 6 for appropriacy and 6 for achievement, making a total of 37. Both candidates were very competent at this level, and Aristoteles showed that he was extremely fluent and had a wide range of vocabulary. However, it was noticeable that he had little real solid content, particularly at the end of part 2 and in part 3, although there was a lot of extended language which he produced. Lysia was slightly challenged occasionally by a number of tense difficulties, and very occasionally her pronunciation was slightly unclear. However, both candidates did achieve a very successful mark at this level, which was at level 6. This has been relaunched in January 2008, and I think you'll find that it's very user-friendly, much more user-friendly than it was before. A lot of work has gone into this, and I do hope that for €15 you can do the speaking test. It is optional, but I don't think it should be optional. I'm going to override him, and he knows I'm going to say that. I don't think the speaking test should be optional, because when students learn language,